No one can take your peace away unless you hand it to them yourself. You can live in the quietest house, no one bothering you, no honking cars, no phone calls that leave you breathless, and still feel chaos inside. Peace has never been something you find in the outside world. It doesn't come from where you live, who you love, or what job you have. It lives within you, in how you face yourself, how you speak to your emotions, and what you choose to hold on to or let go of. But most of us were never taught how to be at peace. We only learn how to try harder, how to endure, how to grit our teeth and keep going, as if enduring was something to be proud of. We grew up in a world that glorifies strength but rarely asks, strong for what? And are we really okay? Peace became this vague dream, something we think we'll finally have once things settle down, once there's no more crisis, once people stop hurting us. But the truth is, peace doesn't wait for anyone. It doesn't arrive when you behave right, when others change, or when life becomes gentler. It only comes when you're willing to let go of what no longer belongs to you, no matter how much you love it, miss it, or have gotten used to it. No one taught us that some things hurt more the longer we hold on. No one told us that sometimes forgiveness isn't about whether someone deserves it, but because you deserve to be free. No one said you don't have to be strong all the time, that it's in your weakness where you begin to touch the truest part of who you are. But today, I'm saying it to you, because if you truly want peace, you have to be willing to look within. No hiding, no blaming, no pretending to be fine. And to do that, first, you need to learn how to pause. Pause 3 things that many of us do every single day without even realizing it. 3 things that seem harmless, but are silently stealing the peace you've been longing for. We often think peace is a reward we earn after surviving the storm. But the truth is, peace isn't a destination. It's how you walk through the storm. Some people still smile even when their hearts are breaking, still show up to work even when their minds are in chaos, still say, "I'm fine," even though they cry silently every night. That's not peace. That's numbness. That's a suppression of emotions so deep that you forget what you once hoped for. What did you use to wish for? A morning without anxiety? A meal where you don't have to hold yourself together? An evening where you can breathe without feeling the weight in your chest? If so, you're not asking for too much. You're simply asking for something very basic. Peace. So why is it so hard to have? Because we keep doing the very things that go against it. We hold on to resentment. Thinking letting go means surrender. We keep comparing. Thinking we're not enough. We keep pretending, afraid someone will leave if they see our weakness. But the truth is, you don't need to become a better, brighter, more polished version of yourself to be worthy of peace. You just need to be honest with yourself. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you let others hurt you for too long. Maybe you kept pretending just so no one would worry. But starting today, you have a right to choose differently. You have a right to choose peace, not by avoiding the pain, but by stopping the things that are slowly making you lose yourself. These 3 things aren't loud. They aren't complex, but they're subtle. They infiltrate how you live, how you think, how you react every single day. And once you stop them, you'll no longer have to search for peace. It will find its way back to you. Rule number 1, don't hold on to what cannot be changed. Some things have already happened. No matter how many times you replay them in your mind, no matter how much you blame yourself, they can't be undone. But humans tend to do the opposite. We don't let the past rest. We rewind the words that hurt us. We relive every detail, every glance, every moment that could have gone differently. We think, if only I had done this instead, if they hadn't left, if I had spoken up that day, if I had been brave enough, then maybe things wouldn't have turned out so badly. Some things have already happened. No matter how many times you replay them in your mind, no matter how much you blame yourself, they can't be undone. But humans tend to do the opposite. We don't let the past rest. We rewind the words that hurt us. We relive every detail, every glance, every moment that could have gone differently. We think, If only I had done this instead, if they hadn't left, if I had spoken up that day, if I had been brave enough, then maybe things wouldn't have turned out so badly. And so we get trapped in an endless loop of what ifs, a place with no way out, no real change. We're not living in the present, but in a distorted version of what's already gone, like holding tightly onto a broken clock and hoping it'll start ticking again. We're only hurting ourselves. Holding on to what can't be changed doesn't make us stronger. It doesn't help us learn any faster. All it does is weigh down your mind and steal moments from the life you could be living now. Peace doesn't come to those with a perfect memory. Peace comes to those who choose to forget, not through denial, but through forgiveness. Forgiveness not because the past deserves it, but because you deserve a life that's no longer haunted by what's already gone. We're taught how to remember, but no one teaches us how to let go. That's why we often mistake letting go for failure, for surrendering, for forgetting something that once mattered. But that's not what it means. Letting go doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means accepting that it did happen and that you can't change it. Thinking about it over and over won't alter the past. It only wears you down in the present. It's like carrying a heavy stone all day, hoping the person who threw it, you will see it, feel sorry and apologize. But that rarely happens. And in the end, the only one in pain is you. Someone may have hurt you and walked away like nothing ever happened, but you stayed. You held on to the wound. You tended to it. You even made it part of your identity. And somewhere along the way, you forgot that you could live a different life, a life not defined by what someone else did wrong. If you want peace, let the wrong stop with the one who caused it. Don't carry it with you. Don't let it replay in your mind. The past doesn't need you to fix it. It just needs to be acknowledged and then laid to rest. Letting go doesn't happen in a single moment. It's a journey, one where you have to relearn how to live without something you once believed you couldn't live without. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a dream. Maybe it's an unfulfilled hope or an apology that never came. But the most painful part isn't the loss itself. It's holding on to it like a self-destructive habit. Every day, you revisit the same wound. You check to see if it still hurts, and then blame yourself for why it hasn't healed yet. But how can it possibly heal if you never give it peace? How can you find peace when you keep reopening the pain just to prove you were hurt? Some things need to be set down, not because you're weak, but because you've grown strong enough to know you don't need them anymore. Forgiveness is the denial of justice. It's the decision not to let the pain continue to have power over you. Remember this. The past doesn't have a back door. You can only move forward by walking out the front, by facing it, feeling it, and then choosing to leave. Peace doesn't ask you to forget everything. It only asks that you stop fighting what can no longer be changed. Rule number 2, don't compare your healing journey to someone else's. We live in a world where everything is on display. Success, joy, healing. All neatly packaged in beautiful photos and carefully crafted captions. And then in a moment of weakness, you see someone who seems to have moved on, found peace, learned to forgive, while you're still struggling through sleepless nights. You ask yourself, is something wrong with me? But what you don't see are the things no one posts. The mornings they couldn't get out of bed, the breakdowns behind closed doors, the panic attacks no one ever witnessed. No one showcases their pain. They only showcase the effort it took to survive. And if you only ever see the light, you'll forget how much darkness had to be walked through to reach it. Healing doesn't follow a chart. There's no perfect timeline. Some people take a month. Some take 10 years. Some never stop hurting. They just learn how to live with the pain. So, if you're still in the middle of the storm, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It simply means you're on your journey. And that journey, no matter how long, how winding, how uneven, is just as valid, just as worthy, just as sacred as anyone else's. Comparison is the fastest way to lose your peace. Not because others are better, but because you forget that you're carrying different wounds at a different time, in a different way. You can't measure your worth by how fast someone else seems to be healing. That person might have gone through things you'll never know. They might have had help. They might have had time. Or maybe they're just better at hiding it. But that doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. If you're slowing down, if you need more time to heal, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you're finally listening to yourself. Some pain needs to be looked at directly. Some wounds can't be fixed with pretty words. They need patience and space and truth. The healing journey isn't something you can schedule. It can't be rushed, copied, or compared. It only begins when you stop looking outward and start listening inward. Peace doesn't come from keeping up. It comes from being brave enough to say, I'm still hurting, and I'm learning how to stop running from that hurt. That's when relief begins to bloom, not in a sudden rush, but gently, like a seed finally watered. Healing isn't a race. It's a commitment, a quiet vow to yourself that you deserve to heal, no matter how long it takes, no matter who believes it or not. Some days you'll feel okay, and then out of nowhere you'll fall apart. Some weeks you'll think you've moved on, and then one old song plays, and suddenly everything shatters again. That doesn't mean you're back at the beginning. It just means you're human, and some wounds still linger. We're not machines. There's no done hurting button, and there doesn't need to be. What you need is to give yourself permission to be where you are, even if where you are is still messy, still raw. Every small step you take, every breath you manage without breaking down, deserves recognition, and you don't need anyone else to validate that. Peace won't come from meeting someone else's standard recovery. It will come when you finally sit with yourself, with both your pain and your strength, and say, I'm still here, I'm still trying, and that's enough. No need to rush, no need to be perfect, just be honest, and that alone is enough to begin peace. Rule number 3, don't pretend to be strong when you're falling apart. Have you ever said, I'm fine, while your throat was tightening? Have you ever smiled, made small talk, kept working hard, while it felt like someone was squeezing your heart from the inside? We learn to pretend we're okay not because we enjoy being fake, but because sometimes we don't feel like we have another choice. Showing emotion is seen as weakness. Crying in front of someone feels like a burden. So we hold it all in, so we don't worry others, so we're not seen as a mess, so we don't get left behind. But over time, that doesn't heal you. It just hardens you. Every time you deny how you really feel, you don't erase it. You just bury it deeper, where it lingers and festers. One day, it will rise up again, in sudden anger, in exhaustion that makes no sense, in mornings where you don't want to get out of bed anymore. Pretending to be strong won't carry you through. It just isolates you on a journey that's already hard enough. Peace doesn't require you to always hold it together. It requires honesty. The honesty to say, I'm tired today. I miss someone. I'm hurting. And it's in that honesty, in those vulnerable, raw moments, that freedom begins. Not freedom from pain, but freedom within the pain. The freedom to live truthfully, even in your softest, most broken parts. You don't have to prove anything when you're falling apart. No one expects you to be a superhero. No one's handing out awards for getting over it in a set amount of time. And yet, somehow, we put that pressure on ourselves. I have to be strong. I have to be okay. I have to get back to normal. And when we can't, we blame ourselves. We feel guilty for being too weak. But emotions aren't a flaw. They're signals. They're how your soul whispers, I'm hurting. Please listen. You may not need someone else to comfort you, but you do need yourself. You need to sit down and admit, I'm not okay. That simple sentence. It may seem small, but it's where healing begins. It's the moment you put down the heavy load called acting fine. It's when your heart gets a little space to breathe. And maybe from that one breath, you'll begin to realize peace doesn't come from holding it all together. It comes from allowing yourself to not hold it, just for a moment. Just enough to stay upright. Just enough to remember that you're still human. Not a perfect mask, but a real feeling person underneath it all. ChatGPT to NOI. Admitting you're broken doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. There are days when all you need is to sit down and do nothing. There are nights when you just need to cry, to say out loud the things you've kept buried for far too long. That's not falling apart. That's coming back to life. No one can move through pain while pretending it isn't there. You can't heal a wound without first touching it. But that doesn't mean you have to dig into it every single day. You just have to face it long enough to know, I'm still here. And the miracle is this. Every time you allow yourself to break, you're teaching your heart how to beat again, not to the rhythm of who you used to be, but to a new rhythm, the rhythm of someone who's been hurt, but didn't give up. Peace doesn't arrive when everything is fixed or back to normal. It comes when you no longer need things to go back. It comes when you look at yourself in the mirror, puffy eyes, messy hair, empty heart, and still say, I am worthy of love, even in my most fragile form. That right there is when true peace begins, not from strength, but from truth. Peace doesn't arrive after a big milestone. It doesn't wait until you've achieved something grand, or until the world becomes kinder. True peace, real peace, comes in the smallest of moments. When you choose not to react to a hurtful comment, when you resist texting the person who broke you, when you go to bed early instead of spiraling in your thoughts. Peace doesn't make a grand entrance. It slips in quietly like a breath and only shows up when you're ready to stop doing the things that keep pushing it away. You can't keep holding on to what's already gone. You can't live someone else's life. You can't wear a mask forever and still hope to feel peace. That's the paradox. The more you force it, further it drifts. But when you let go, when you're honest, when you allow yourself to be soft and unguarded, peace will come. Not in flashes of brilliance, not with noise or applause, but quietly, steadily. It will be there when you cook a simple meal, when you sit and listen to the wind, when you no longer feel the need to prove your worth to be loved. Don't chase peace as if it's a destination. Welcome it like a companion, one that walks with you only when you live in rhythm with your own heart. And if today you haven't found it yet, please don't blame yourself. Don't rush. Like all things that truly matter, peace must be invited gently, with kindness toward yourself. You survived so many breakings, and you're still here. That alone is proof of your strength, even if you no longer feel the need to look strong. True strength isn't in holding back tears. It's in the courage to say, I'm hurting, but I'm still choosing to live. Not just exist, but live deeply, not out of obligation, but because something in you still believes there's more to live for. And peace, however delicate, will come when you begin to live like that. Don't shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. Don't twist yourself into someone you think will be more lovable. Peace doesn't live in perfection. It lives in those quiet moments where you don't need to prove anything. You just exist, and that's enough. And please, don't hold on to things that hurt just because you once loved them. Love and letting go can exist in the same breath. Forgiveness and boundaries can walk side by side. Strength and softness are not opposites. You don't have to choose. You just have to be honest. In the end, the only thing you truly need to begin peace is not a strategy, not a savior, but a decision. A decision that says, from today forward, I will be kind to myself, whether anyone understands it or not. because you deserve a life that feels light, not because you've earned it, but simply because you are you. Peace isn't some distant reward reserved for those who've conquered every challenge. It's a basic right, the right to live without dragging away the past, without chasing someone else's standards, without faking strength just to be accepted. In a world that constantly teaches us how to rise, sometimes the deeper wisdom lies in learning how to let go. Letting go of what cannot be changed, stopping the comparison between paths that were never meant to look alike, taking off the mask of toughness when your heart is breaking. Everyone has a different rhythm of healing. No two journeys are the same, but one truth remains the same for all of us. We all deserve to feel light again. And when you begin to treat yourself with gentleness, your inner world will shift. You'll no longer have to chase peace, because peace will become something you radiate. If you're still here, thank you truly for staying with me until the very last moment. Leave a comment below. What part of this video spoke to you the most? Or simply, how are you feeling today? And if you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next healing story. Every share from you is like an extended hand, helping peace travel beyond the screen, reaching farther, deeper, to others who might need it just as much.